I'm your host for the Hidden Truths channel. Anyway, how's everybody doing this evening? Tonight's live stream is going to be on our U.S. troops headed to Ukraine. And that's what we're going to discuss tonight. But I would say they're talking about it, so the chance of it happening are pretty good, right? Anyway, we'll get into that subject matter in a couple minutes because I got to talk about something else for a short time before people get in the chat. Anyway, anybody seen that video lately that was done with Hillary Clinton? Was saying how Trump now understands. Anyway, she wasn't bashing Trump. She was agreeing with, or saying Trump's starting to understand the way everything's run now and stuff. Okay, so it's like they were both on the same side. Hunter Thompson, hi, how you doing tonight? Appreciate you being here. It's going to be an interesting discussion tonight. So if you're a younger person who can be drafted, you might want to listen to it. So anyway, that video on Hillary Clinton not bashing Trump, not talking like she normally does about Trump. Once they made Trump the Messiah, that's when I started questioning this. Exactly. I mean, I'm a constitutional conservative, right? You would not believe the bashing I get from MAGA Republicans because you disagree with Trump. I mean, I'm sorry, like I say, he could walk on water now. But if he's going to sit there and say the lists don't exist, forget it. Strictly Cycling, hey, how's it going? Good to see you tonight. Well, I got some people showing up. So why don't we get into the subject? Do we got U.S. troops headed to Ukraine? Now, the simplest answer to that is we already got troops in Ukraine, all right? We already got advisors, special forces in there, collecting information, giving intelligence. We're giving them a bunch of stuff. There's U.S. troops there that are liaison to all this going on. Okay, but we're not going to discuss that. But do we actually got U.S. troops headed to Ukraine? Well, I guess they're talking about it, right? So obviously if Russia doesn't agree to this peace deal that the U.S. wants so the U.S. can win the Ukraine-Russia war, and that's all about the U.S. winning, there may be troops on the ground. There are actual American troops with we got most of our equipment over there already. So, I mean, our jets and stuff, we'd just be sending the people over. But I would say if this don't work out, it's probably a good chance of it happening. For some reason, there's something about Ukraine that the United States has to protect, that they are willing to go to World War III, a nuclear war with Russia over this. I mean, frankly, why does Russia have to agree to peace? They could sit there for 50 years with Ukraine and just play with them and make the West weaker as they go. That's all they're doing, a war and attrition. But remember how the war started out? Remember February, March of 2022? What were we sending? We're just going to send medical supplies. Remember that? Just going to be medical supplies. No bullets, no nothing like that. Definitely not no long-range missiles and all this other stuff. Sharing some intelligence and medical supplies. But, the talk in the background was about weapons. And then when we started, see how it builds up? And then they started talking about sending them weapons with the medical supplies, and was artillery shells and bullets and stuff like that. Remember all that? I mean, this war has been going on for 3.5 years. Now we're building up to, what did Trump say? They can basically have anything they want except a nuclear weapon. And just the money we've been sticking into that war. Like I say, what makes Ukraine so important? Why is it so important that Ukraine has to be part of NATO? I mean, to me, it looks like NATO still, after the Soviet Union collapsed, we didn't need NATO no more. NATO should have dissolved. But NATO still hasn't got through its thick head. It still wants this war with Russia. Still wants it. And they're going to push the bear until they get it. Anyway, even if they come out with a peace deal with this and everything's all hunky-dory, yeah, give it a eight months to a year. We'll see what happens. Hunter, he ain't getting Ukraine. You talking about Hunter Biden? What if Putin does stop after he gets Ukraine? The thing is, okay, is he wants, I don't know what Russia wants, but I don't believe Russia wants to conquer the world. That's not the Russian mentality. Okay? Stalin didn't invade Germany to take over Germany. Germany invaded Russia to take over Russia. Okay? Russia didn't invade Napoleon's empire to take over Napoleon. Napoleon invaded Russia. Russia's not an invading force. But after World War II, yeah, they took over a lot of land because the maps of the world change after wars. But like I say, the Soviet Union collapsed. This is what happens with communists. It collapses. This is one thing we should take as a note. The Soviet Union collapsed because it became worthless. We're too far in debt. Same thing that's happening in this country because of the communists we have in charge of this country. But anyway, why? We promised Russia all this stuff when the Soviet Union collapsed. NATO's not going to expand. And they're like, say, NATO should have dissolved. Okay? And they're like, this all leads back to the Ukraine war of 2014. With the CIA's coup in Ukraine and stuff. Anyway, you can't, eventually if you start beating somebody enough or threatening them enough, a country enough, where they start feeling like they're a cornered animal, well, what happens? They come out fighting. The same thing the United States would do if we had China on the northern border, if Canada decided to let China in, okay, and Mexico allowed Russia in, and then we had Russia subs along our coast. Okay, NATO doing the Warsaw Pact and surrounding the United States. Boy, we wouldn't probably like that very much, would we? Anyway, I do believe, a second. I do believe we have troops, regular ground troops and stuff, headed to Ukraine. Because there's no way Russia and Zelensky are going to, Putin and Zelensky are going to come to an agreement. I mean, is Zelensky even going to wear a suit when he goes see Putin? Or is he going to be disrespectful as shit? I'd love to see Putin show up in his martial arts outfit. Barefoot, the whole works. And just throw Zelensky down to the ground and start beating his ass. Say, hey, we'll beat you instead of your people. See, that's the thing. Why Russia fighting this war? Because Russia don't have nothing against the Ukrainian people. I mean, I don't have nothing against the Russian people or the Ukrainian people or the Israeli people. But the people they're being led by, the being governed by, that's who we got the problem with, just like in this country. Hunter, there's no question the current mayor here in New York City, Eric Adams, is corrupt from top to bottom. When's the last time you guys didn't have a corrupt mayor? I mean, Rudy Giuliani in that where he made it so cops could just stop somebody and frisk him for no reason. God, he's a lawyer, right? And he don't understand the Fourth Amendment? Yeah, Mayor Adams. Yeah, I don't keep up, but you had that Blasio or whatever. These big cities is just a place where these politicians can make more money and the people suffer. Stop and frisk. Yeah, that was retarded. That was so unconstitutional. Whatever. Of course, that's not what they call it. Not stereotyping, but I can't remember the term for it right now. Maybe somebody can say what it is. But Hunter, we're in New York City. Where do you live? Profiling, yeah, racial profiling. Okay. Thank you for helping me out there. Sometimes the old brain cells just start. There's so much going on. Like I made how crazy the country is. I made a video today on these men, transgender gay guys that are NFL football cheerleaders. I mean, I was from Minnesota, Minnesota Vikings fan for a year, and I stopped watching the NFL after the kneeling shit. By the way, just crazy times. Okay. You got testosterone-filled men and women and these kids that just want to see guys beat up on each other as they carry a pigskin up and down the field, and now they got to look at for distraction. You got the cheerleaders. Yeah, everybody likes to look at cheerleaders, and now you got some guy in there trying to act like a woman. Yeah, let's see how good the Vikings do this year. They could win the Super Bowl, and the fans have had enough. But anyway, troops in Ukraine, stay on subject, Tom. Yeah, but there's no way Russia's going to agree to this peace deal that Trump wants. Zelensky isn't. Okay. If Trump don't even have to be in it. This is the whole thing, Trump. Get the hell out of it. Why are you holding peace talks in the White House over the Ukraine and Russia war? They should be being held in Moscow because Moscow's kicking Kiev's ass. Maybe if the U.S. got out of it, the war would be over, I don't know, in about 48 hours. Like I said, there's got to be something there the U.S. just has to protect. They just can't let go. I mean, they're willing to sit there and risk World War III in our country to protect Ukraine. To protect Ukraine from a dictator who canceled the elections. All you Democrats. Yeah, a man that canceled the elections. And let's say I'm a constitutional conservative and I got a Republican conservative president in office, right, who's supporting a dictator who canceled his election. But don't worry, he can't surrender because his Constitution doesn't allow him to, but his Constitution allows him to cancel the elections. Anybody believe that shit? Anyway, I can see YouTube's clamping down on channel. They're going to put me back on the shoulder on the interstate doing about 3 miles an hour. So, hey, as long as I got a few people here, if you like to support the channel, hit the thumbs up, the subscribe and the bell notification. Help get the word out and stuff. Because I hear a lot of people, creators on YouTube, that all the comments about, I got a lot of people on my channel that they'll comment on a video and say, my comments are going through. If you comment about Jeffrey Epstein, if you make a bad comment about Trump or the Republicans, if you see, we got Hillary Clinton agreeing with Trump now, or she says that Trump's finally agreeing with them on how the world should run, okay? They're all on the same side. They're all happy that the list isn't going to be, people aren't going to start getting arrested. So now Hillary Clinton is Trump's best friend. It's time for us to invoke the Declaration of Independence, sir. Everybody. Like I say, everybody's, we got troops in the street to fight our crime. And nobody can sit there and think, we got troops in the streets to fight our crime. It's not a positive thing, folks. Not a positive thing. So if we start getting troops in our streets, in the bigger cities, and we start sending troops overseas, he starts sending troops into other cities and they don't go away. Like I say, in Washington, D.C., where's the end game to all this? When crime is down to finally zero, do the troops go away? Or does he finally use the troops to drain the swamp? But do the troops go away and the cops get to start over from scratch with no crime, but they don't even have to carry guns? Is that what's going to happen in these cities? After the military leaves, they're all going to be hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Anybody see the military leaving these towns? No, I see from now on not only cop cars patrolling the city, but Humvees with machine guns on them. Well, they got their foot in the door. Why would they stop? Just like with this Ukraine war. Started off with medical supplies. Now we're into any weapons they want except nuclear weapons. Oh, and now, hey, why not? Truth. Remember the big F-16 deal about sending F-16s to Ukraine? And then Russia said, that's the red line. We're going to start. Well, see, Russia doesn't stand behind what it says either. I mean, God, are we all being played all over the world over this shit? Man, I don't know. Think the police state will protect him from his third impeachment. You know what? He's not going to have to be protected from the third impeachment, okay? They're doing this because they realize he's going to need to be protected from the people. I mean, look what he told voters like me. You don't need us no more. You ask about that list. I don't need. You've been brainwashed by the Democrats. Yeah, Epstein was arrested for downloading child porn and went through solitary confinement, suicide watch, all this shit like he was master criminal number one. Bullshit. And that was under your first watch, Trump. And Pam Bondi. Well, we ain't got that, man. 1 to 3 minutes because the computers reset themselves. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? But, now they're talking about sending troops to Ukraine. So they're going, people. And even like I say, if we have a peace deal, the troops are still going to Ukraine. It doesn't matter if there's a peace deal or not a peace deal. The troops are still going to Ukraine to set up the infrastructure for when we do start this war against Russia. Ukraine's all set up to be a launching site. So I guess, troops are going to Ukraine. A little bit more secretly, they ain't going to announce like they do now. Yeah, we got 3 carrier groups leaving their ports right now, and they're headed to this area. Advertising it all over the news. Anybody in the military like me, loose lips sink ships? You would have got in big trouble if you were on a deployment and you would have been blabbering where everything's going to go and stuff. But that's the way we do stuff these days. I guess they do it to scare people. But anyway, so now if you got children the next thing is the draft. I'm surprised we didn't hear nothing about that yet. The draft. That's going to be kind of hard to draft a younger generation these days because, hey, J99, how's it going? Nice to see you tonight. Okay, J99, she was in the Army, right? Can you imagine? And she's got a daughter that's in the Army, just graduated boot camp not too long ago. Now, what was it like? I can't imagine what the recruits would be like. I mean, I went to boot camp with real men. Not somebody who wants to be a transgender and fill up the hospitals. Well, they got a separate wing for transgenders now? I mean, they pushed us and pushed us and pushed us to break us. Their drill instructors' purposes were to take us from a civilian and get us used to, turn us into military-minded individuals. And during that process, their job was to break anybody that couldn't handle it, and they were gone. Not called being mean, it's called saving their goddamn life. If a drill instructor can break them during training, They can be broke in combat, which will cost lots of lives. That's why you have, in the Marine Corps, there are drill instructors like Full Metal Jacket. I mean, frankly, that was Hollywood. They couldn't make it as bad as it really was. But I love boot camp. Like I say, I was at my recruiter in boot camp telling how much fun I was having. That's how bad my home life sucked. For anybody who thinks their home life sucked, Marine Corps boot camp was better than my home life. So if you got that topped, head to the Marine Corps. You'll love it. But I don't sit there and resent the way I grew up. Made me who I am now. Somebody to serve people. Somebody I don't need, being rich is like the last thing on my list of things to do in my life. I grew up having to be tough and resilient and independent. And definitely learned how to use my fisticuffs. Anyway, but yeah, we got troops headed to Ukraine. After the Munich Agreement and September 1938, and then Neville Chamberlain, when he landed in Britain, holding up that paper. And we have, how there was always going to be peace in Europe. And then less than a year later, Germany invaded Poland. This is just another stepping stone to our war with Russia. The people at the powers that be want it. The American people don't want it. We didn't vote for this shit. Who thought that? Who voted for Trump? We'd still be giving money to Ukraine. We all thought it was going to, we all know all we got to do is stop supporting the war and it ends. It ends. Why does the U.S. have to win the Ukraine-Russia war? Why? They don't want Ukraine to win it or Russia to win it. Trump wants the United States to win it. Why does the United States support LGBT? The United States don't support it. Our government does. But if you did a survey, over 90% of the population would be like, no, we don't support it. Our culture don't support it. Christianity doesn't support it. It's mental illness, sir. Mental illness. And the thing about when everybody has their own little level of mental illness, but back when we were growing up and stuff, and our parents and our grandparents, they knew to keep their mental illness in the closet. Okay? But no, America doesn't accept LGBTQ. And I love all these LGBTQ that are for Palestine. Go to Palestine. They're going to throw you off a goddamn roof. We don't accept it, but we tolerate it. There's a difference. Palestinians don't accept it or tolerate it. So thank God you live in a country where it's tolerated. See, that's the thing about a constitutional republic. You are protected to live your life. Okay? If the minority. I'm not allowed, if I become the majority, I'm not allowed to say, well, I'm against it. I don't accept it. So nobody's, it's just against law, da-da-da-da-da. Let's start putting them in camps. But see, in a democracy that you all want, that can happen. Okay? But you don't have to tolerate it. But, our culture doesn't accept it. But we have a tolerant culture. Having a tolerant culture like we did made the United States succeed like it did. Your neighbor's saying, hey, I'm not going to worry about what my neighbor's doing. I'm going to concern myself with me and become the best I can be and not worry about what direction my neighbor's going in. But this is the thing. Who cares what you do in your bedroom? If I got to know what you do in your bedroom, you and I aren't going to get along. I don't want to hear some some heterosexual guy like me tell me what he did the night before, just like I don't want to hear some transgender LGBTQA person telling me their experiences in the bedroom. I don't care. Jesus Christ, we got bigger problems in this country. Listen, when it all goes down, everybody's going to realize how small and minute all these problems are. Okay, when everybody wakes up and sees who the real enemy is, and everybody's got to sit there and pull their pants up and be big boys and solve the problem, a lot of these mental illness problems will go away. What's the best way to solve mental illness? Make them deal with reality. Tell them the truth. Okay? You got an adult that lives in a fantasy world like a 5 or 6 year old does. Tell them what the truth. But like I say on this platform, you're not allowed to say the truth. All these social media platforms. Anyway, it's just this country thinks that by hiding the truth, it doesn't exist, right? The lists don't exist, so nothing ever happened because we're not going to look at it. So nothing ever happened, right? They just ignore the problem and expect us to do it too. We're the ones living this shit. You don't have politicians' kids that are being abducted from the street, or CEOs of big companies, their kids being abducted in the street, taken into a van and sold in sex slavery. No, that's for our children. Okay, their children not being victims of illegal immigrants. No, that's for our children. What do we sit there and raise children to be harvested like animals? So some rich elite can have its petty little sickest dreams, fantasies, fulfill his fantasies. Anyway, this world's messed up. And now if Russia doesn't agree to what Trump wants or Zelensky wants, Russia's going to be the bad guy, right? I mean, you got to remember, I was in the Marine Corps. I was taught to hate Russia. I don't think they're a good country. But like I say, even a good country isn't going to take shit all the time. They're eventually going to stand up for themselves. Even a bad country can have the moral ground when even a worse country or organization is coming at them. But anyway, yeah, prepare for our troops to be headed over there. They'll break it to us in a way where, we're just supporting them. We need our troops on the ground so we can sit there and maintain the airplanes and stuff, all this stuff. But they're talking about it, people. So I guess the answer to the question, are we troops going over there? Yes. To what extent? Depends on how these bilateral, was it going to be bilateral, trilateral talks? The thing is, Trump needs to get the hell out of it, okay? And let Ukraine deal with its own goddamn problems. And all you Americans that support it, when the United States gets in the position where we're getting our ass handed to us and we're about to take over, who's going to come to our aid? Nobody. We're going to be totally left on our own. So, our politicians, don't worry. They'll be safe wherever. But, nobody's going to come to our rescue. No country's going to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to save the United States of America. We don't have a lot of subscribers. You don't have a lot of subscribers speaking, so please answer a question or two of mine. This is my channel, so if you don't fucking like it, then get the fuck off of it. I'm sorry, did I just upset you? I don't really watch a chat. I'm on here, and I don't have a lot of subscribers. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm a little tiny channel. Oh my God. It's all about status. Get the fuck off my channel. Start your own channel up and give your own opinions then. I tell you what, I can't stand these fucking people that think they're going to run my channel. If I got to sit here and talk and constantly go like that, a nonstop chat, are you nuts? I got a subject I want to get by. You in the chat discuss it. I got my moderators in there. You don't like it? Then get the hell out of here. I need people in this chat that want to get together, have an adult conversation about the problems in this country, come together. I want to form my own militia. You know, the well-regulated militia we got in this country now, us vets. I don't have time for freaking whiners. Oh, did I just answer that question? Yeah, I turned into a grumpy old man. I'm done with it. You know, I look down at the chat and I'll catch something every once in a while, but whatever. But you know what? This is what you get. But I appreciate you being watching. This man makes my day better. Boy, you're one of the few. I tell you what, I definitely don't make Mark Zuckerberg's or Jeffrey Bezos' day better. The thing is, like I say, people, we're all in the same boat. We can't be whining and crying anymore. This is about organizing. In the chat there, say, hey, I'd like to organize. How do we get together? And if I see something, I miss something, my moderators will let me know. Okay, they got my email and stuff. They let me know. I don't want to shut anybody up, but like I say, I'm trying to get my message across. I don't have time to sit there. The chat's just whipping sometimes. You know, a lot of the questions that people have, if you would just watch some of my other content, it would be answered. Don't think you can come on here for 2 or 3 minutes, have the whole channel figured out or whatever. You know, watch some of my other content. I guarantee you I covered it. Talk. Anyway, oh, the little things. I know everybody's so used to hating each other. Yeah, nobody knows how to get along anymore. Like I say, I was alive, you know, the closest I ever remember the United States as a people coming together as a country was after September 11th. 2001. It didn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, black, white, whatever color, nationality, what you did in your bedroom, nobody cared. We're all Americans that got attacked that day. And that mindset's completely gone. Now everybody wants to get hostile. My job makes me hate PPL. I don't know what people. I live out here, okay, I'm a lone wolf. I've had it with people too. You know, when I was in the Marine Corps and traveled the world, I got to see the worst of the world, the worst of people. And since I came back in the United States, people are so freaking spoiled, they don't care, and they're just mean to each other. And they'll do anything to get another quarter out of your pocket. Yeah, I've had it with people too. Definitely had it with people. You know, but that's where our society becomes. Nothing but hate filled. Politicians up there. You need to hate your neighbor because he's black or because he's white or because he's got a nicer car than you or because his lawn's greener. Pick something. Need to hate your fellow Republican because he believes there's a list and you don't. There's just another reason every day where they can divide us. Now we'll be divided on whether we should send troops to Ukraine or not. But don't worry, the ones that are voting on it, their kids won't be going. That's a good thing about it. The ones that want this war will do nothing to support it, will not sacrifice until the end of the war. If we are being taken over, then they'll sacrifice. But until then, you know, Trump, peace, right? So anyway, I guess he's only going to have peace if he gets to run the world his way. Well, I guess that's the way all tyrants are. They're happy as long as everything's going their way. All I know is this is not the Trump that was on the campaign trail at all. It's like he hit the star chamber the day after he got into the presidency. Hey, that's okay, Paul. See, we don't have to agree. Where's the list? If they arrest people on that list, we're going to have to hold new elections. Washington will be cleaned out. Didn't Hillary Clinton say, if I go down, I can clean out half of Washington? And I'm sure somebody else can clean out the other half. Raul Hernandez, say hi. I agree. If because Israel first and only. If it became Israel first and only. Yeah, Israel, I don't. Like I said, I was in Israel in 87, spent my 20th birthday there. And that country's been hijacked, just like our country. But, you know, Netanyahu, he got the list from old Pam Bondi, took it off her desk, and he took it back to Israel. And then Trump comes out the next day and says the lists don't exist. And Netanyahu's using it better than Jeffrey Epstein with blackmailing, because you can see the strings hooked to the puppets. And the puppets are the ones on the list, going to the Wailing Wall, basically giving allegiance to Israel. Our politicians. Why don't Israel, is Israel going to be voting? Anyway, they got 3.5 years left, people. And like I say, not only sending troops overseas, but troops to our cities. This is getting beyond unreal now, okay? This is getting beyond what I ever thought could happen in the United States when I was younger, when I was in the Marine Corps, when I was after the Marine Corps. I never thought the United States could come to this without the American people doing something about it. But yeah, we got here, okay? We got here. Crazy times, people. That's why I need your support on this channel. We don't have to agree on everything to support each other. All we have to do is see what the government's trying to do to us. And they don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. You're on the hit list, buddy, because they don't like you. All right? And I think Democrats are starting to feel that too now, that maybe their politicians don't give a shit about them either. We're all in this sinking ship together, people. It's time to organize. The world needs us to do something to put our government back in line. This government has the ability, and right now it seems the drive, the ambition to do something to destroy this world. Anyway, that's what it's just leading to. We'll all see what the future brings, but it'll be interesting. Michael Anthony. Do I got somebody in there that's not liking me at all? This is what I'm saying. You can't even have a discussion. This is my channel. This is the way I see the world. And the way my channel was growing, that's the way a lot of other people see it too. They're pissed. They're pissed. They are pissed. Remember, there are Democrats that voted for Trump too. And we're pissed. We're broke. And all our government seems to sit there worry about is what's going on somewhere halfway around the world. How about we start spending some money on our vets? But like I say, I got a job for all you homeless vets. We got a country to take back. Okay, and when we form our army, you can join that military. and you can sit there like in boot camp. You go through that door, that first door, you get your hair cut, you go in the next room and get all your uniforms and walk out the other side of the building with your sea bag, and you look like you did when you first got out of boot camp, except now you ain't got to be trained. And we got our military people. All these homeless vets will have a purpose again. And I guarantee you, they'll be highly motivated. And, they're used to hard times. They've been toughened up even more. Anyway, yes, I want to start my militia. A well-regulated militia, which I'm allowed to be. I'm allowed to. I am part of the well-regulated militia. Experienced and trained. Thank you, Uncle Sam. I'm glad you prepared me for this time in this country. Christ is already stepping in, warning us before it's too late. Oh, I know, Amanda. Good to see you, Amanda. I tell you what, I appreciate all you moderators. I appreciate the heck out of you. Because, the people that do want to come here and have an intelligent conversation need a safe place. Like I say, I don't watch the chat a lot. But if we do have questions in the chat that I'm missing and people are asking, just say, hey, he don't watch chat much. He'll check it out. Don't get impatient. He runs his show his way. We all got to stop demanding stuff out of other people that they do stuff the way you want them to. That's not what this country is about. Everybody doing stuff the same way, thinking the same way. You think that's what made America great? Stupid is as stupid does, exactly. I tell you what, is that not a classic movie? That was a movie when you watched it the first time, you're like, where the hell can this movie go? What direction can this movie go in this time? But anyway, it was a good movie. I'm a Middle Eastern descent, and this gentleman running this chat is like a minded individual, is a like-minded individual. I'm an American. I believe in freedom. I believe in staying out of your neighbor's problems and your neighbor staying out of your problems and your government staying out of your problems. Living free. I mean, it's just, you don't like being told what to do. You realize you can live your life better if you live by your rules. Especially if you're a good person and you're not hurting nobody and you're just trying to live your life. That's what I found out all over the world, no matter where I went. Guys like me that wanted to, I wasn't married at that time, but wanted to raise a family and just be an average Joe, go to work, come home and be a good father and husband. And it's like, they don't want that no more. They don't want a strong family unit. And another thing about Americans, we don't take shit. And the American spirit started over in Europe. That's the spirit that started over there that started bringing people to America. The spirit where I ain't going to take no more shit. That's what brought people to a wilderness where they got off the ships after they've survived the trip. And they're looking at a bunch of trees. Well, we get to start from scratch. No EBT, no government services or nothing. That spirit that I'm not going to take no shit. There's no stop signs in my way, and I can accomplish anything I want to. Anyway, hey, I'm going to get out of here tonight. YouTube's really slamming this. I probably haven't even got a couple hundred viewers tonight. It's just, like I say, go from thousands to nothing. Well, they got me in the putt-putt lane for a while. Whatever. It still ain't, their actions is what causes the truth to come out. I mean, if they were good people, imagine the truth we got to hear. But in today's world, you can't hide it. So, anyway, but they're definitely trying to shut me up. Guess what? I don't give up, okay? I'm like the Terminator. I will not stop. I will not stop. because I know people want to see this. They want to hear this. Like that short I made. I am willing to speak the truth publicly. I am brave enough to speak the truth publicly. Are you brave enough to listen, to hear it? You know, that's what the world's coming to, people. This isn't the United States of America I grew up in. But anyway, back to the subject. Yeah, we're sending troops to Ukraine. To what degree, I don't know. But to some degree, we are. It all depends on if we're shooting at Russia or we're just building up for the Russia war next year. We'll see. But I know by July, probably June of next year, we will be at war with Russia. Anyway, just my thoughts on the subject. So prepare, people. Prepare. That's what Tom, the Lone Wolf Prepper, has to say about this stuff. Appreciate everybody being here. Like I say, if you want to help support the channel, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and bell notification. Because it's not time for people to be silent. And please share my content. Not time for people to be silent. Even the ones that I yell at on my channel, tear up, I don't care. You're allowed to have an argument or yell at somebody and still get along the next day. That still happens in today's world, right? Anyway, but this is my channel, so that's all I got to say about that. But anyway, thank my moderators for being here. I thank everybody for being here. Hi from Australia. How you doing? Not too bad, Phil. Australia, this is an international show. How's everything down under? The government trying to put you down under? The best thing I know about Australia is Crocodile Dundee. Never been there before. You know, Marines don't go to Australia that much. Our military don't go to Australia that much. But, you know, I like to sit there, be an interesting place to go see the wildlife from a protected vehicle. Anyway, I hear those kangaroos can get pretty damn nasty. But I appreciate everybody being here. And Phil, I tell you what, I do a live stream most every night about this time, an hour or so. I've been going for about 47 minutes, so that can tell you what time. But I appreciate, like I say, this is just American perspective. And I sure hope you don't have to deal with any screwed up policies that America's trying to enforce on your country. I love it when people come here from other countries. Ukraine. Trump is the best president ever. No, that would be George Washington, sir. Sorry. That would be George Washington. Hands down, by far, no match. No match because Washington wouldn't have been on the list and he would have arrested the sons of bitches on it. But let's also remember, who's not on the list? Putin, Kim Jong-un, and Xi Jinping. They aren't on the list. What's that tell you? That money will corrupt everybody. And when they have absolute money, absolute power and money, guys like you and I, people like us, don't stand a chance. Well, I don't give up. Yeah, we do stand a chance. It's just time to act. Anyway, two genders only. Absolutely. Two genders. That's the way I grew up. That's the health class I took. That's the way I was educated. Okay? But like I say, we're dealing with mental illness, Paul. What do you do? What do you do? I mean, like I say, now we got guys that think they're one of the girls, cheerleaders for the NFL. What a manly sport. Pretty soon, those men that are the cheerleaders will be on the field playing flag football in bikinis. Anyway, like I like to say, if the gladiators, if Rome would have decided to put those type of people in the arena to entertain The people, how full do you think the Coliseum would have been? Just curious. Take a guess. Not very full. Anyway, tell you what, I appreciate, Paul. All these are as common sense things in the last 4 years. Americans lost common sense. Yeah, because it's not taught no more. They don't know how to critical think. To have common sense, you need to be able to comprehend and think. They don't have that no more. See, this is the thing. A basic function that we had growing up as kids. This is something new to adults. I mean, all these schools that people go to, truck driving. Your dad used to teach you. You got to see the out and went on the road truck driving, okay? A lot of these traits and skills that people go to school for. I mean, they even have schools teaching people how to drive tractors in fields. Driving just whatever. I mean, prepping skills, doing a garden, shooting a gun. I mean, stuff that as a kid you just did. That was kid shit. It's like now it's higher education stuff. Crazy times. Anyway, I guess the host knows who's on the list for some reason. Well, I can tell you who's not on it. I don't know who's on it. I just know who's not on it. I mean, you disagree with me? I mean, if you disagree with me that those 3 people aren't on the list, then say it. But I would say you probably agree to that. Like I said, I just told you who's not on the list. And you know, I know a few of them, but the people that are on it, well, you know, maybe they should start doing the walk of shame, and we'll see. They don't have to start releasing no list. They just have to start arresting people. And then when the charges come out, we'll understand what they got arrested for. We keep asking for the list to come out. Yeah, they'll release the list, and that's all they'll do. Not listed. What are you, a coward? Not listed. You a coward? Sounds like you're a coward. Yeah, that's what a sicko does. Gets on YouTube, shows his face and stuff, huh? Not listed. There's a coward. Get rid of him, J99. Get rid of his ass. I don't have time for that shit. Like I say, this is intelligent conversation. People that don't want to get along, well, guess what? You'll be cannon fodder. You'll be stuck in the middle. Whatever happened to talking about secret organizations? Like our federal government? You mean that secret organization? I tell you what, the human race in the world's in a lot of hurt. It's in a lot of trouble. If you can't even see danger when it's knocking at your freaking door, and you're listening to a guy on the radio saying, hey, you got danger knocking on your door, and you're like, screw that guy, and you just open the door, these people can't be helped. They're encouraging it. They get a kick out of it. They don't care. And they'll be the first ones crying for help when it's coming down their street. But nobody's going to be there to save you. All they do is hide. They protested, hide behind masks. If I was at one of those protests, I'd just start going up and yanking fucking masks down. Because they're all a bunch of cowards. I mean, they'll sit there and charge an ICE agent, right? About 20 of them. And they'll come at them and stuff, and all the ICE agent has to do is turn around towards them, and they go running the other direction. There's some strong men there. Anyway, but this is what you get. Jesser X Sturgis. Boy, that's one hell of a. Hey, I appreciate you being here. Just because Trump wants to get a tent city out of the park in Washington, D.C. has bad, what the fuck? Have you ever been to D.C., Paul? I was in D.C. back in the late 80s, been in the White House and stuff. And in the White House, you could see that across from Pennsylvania Avenue through the windows, you could see the homeless on the steam grates in the park across from the White House where they put all the Christmas trees, decorate the Christmas trees for the states in the Christmas time. Okay? The world leaders could see that. What's Trump trying to create his own green zone so he don't have to see the destruction of the country he's causing and all the other politicians before him causing? Just like Hitler, when he was in his carriage driving through his bombed out cities on his train, pulled down the curtain so he didn't have to see him? You mean that type of mentality? I think homeless should be living in the White House lawn. And then maybe they could figure out how to get rid of the homeless problem by giving people a reason to live, giving people a goal, making them start feeling good about themselves. So I think it's crock shit. He's trying to create his green zone. He's going to get rid of the people he doesn't want, the green zone in Iraq. He wants to get rid of the people he doesn't want. And he's got the military in there. Like I say, when is the National Guard going to leave D.C.? They haven't got into that part yet, have they? Just coming and getting rid of the homeless. Anyway, I hope everybody in D.C. likes your checkpoints. And like I say, coming to a city near you, not only are cop cars going to be cruising the streets from now on, but you'll have Humvees with machine guns mounted on them patrolling the cities from now on. Because everybody thinks that, we got the military out in the street to save us from crime. And they don't realize that we got the military on the streets to protect us from crime. It's so bad. Woo! I don't know. I think the pharmaceutical is really rotting some people's brains. Because if you think the military on the street is a good idea, like I say, when's it going to go away? So why hasn't anybody complained about SWAT team and wearing masks? That's equipment, safety equipment. You're going in tactical. What are you going to sit there and say? As a Marine, I wasn't allowed to go into combat with my gear? The way the SWAT team's used is fucked up. But the SWAT team having gear to protect themselves is not fucked up. But the way they're being used, oh, hell yeah, that's fucked up. It's being used to torment the citizens. So anyway, you can try again there, Paul. I'm talking, you know what I'm talking about, the protesters. Why do you need to wear a mask to protest? I mean, if you're protesting, don't you want people to know who you are as you're expressing your opinion to the public? Hiding from a mask seems like you're hiding from the truth, maybe, or trying to be doing something deceptive. Anyway, I'm on YouTube. This is my protest. I'm on YouTube. I protest every single damn day. I'm not going to go out there in the streets and scream and holler so nobody can hear me. I'm going to be on YouTube where people hear me, no matter how much YouTube tries to hide it. This is my protest. This is me trying to tell us, hey, we're all on sinking ship together. We need to get organized. The well-regulated militia needs to get together, all us vets, and give the government something to fear. So that's how I protest. I think the homemakers need to live with you. The homeless need to live with you. No, I'd put them to work. And then they could sit there and make money and not be homeless no more. I'm not going to help anybody that doesn't want to help themselves. I'll never do that. Because if your freedom of choice is to be worthless, so be it. But if you need help, you're on the path to becoming a better person and you need guidance or help with that, but you got your own drive and your own ambition, that's what's taking you down the path, I'll help you out because then you're worth the effort. Okay? But hey, if you're all for homeless, that's fine. I mean, you think whatever. But like I say, you give people a purpose, start making them, giving them self-esteem and feeling good about themselves and start becoming independent. Maybe we can get rid of our homeless problem. But see, the government doesn't want that. The government wants dependency. But one thing about the homeless crowd, they sure didn't have a problem with, they didn't have to get the old vax or nothing like that. They never died off, did they? The homeless were safe as bugs in a rug. Or maybe it was just a mock thing that nobody was in danger anyway. But they made it look good, didn't they? Unless you studied the 1917 and 1918 Spanish flu. Unless you studied that 30 years ago, you'd had seen the game they played. My knowledge is only limited to what I'm exposed to. Good night, Tom. Heading to bed. Been a long day. Thank you for being here, J99. I'm going to get, it's been an hour. I'm done anyway. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. Anyway, I'm out here. Appreciate everybody being here. But, like I say, if you don't understand what kind of person I am, Paul, I got over 1,000 videos on YouTube. A lot of shorts. Go check some of them out. Go check some of them out to see what kind of person I am. See where I live. See how I live. Go check them out. If you don't have time, you can sit on here for 10, 20 minutes. You can go check out some of my shorts. I'm a guy who is compassionate towards his fellow Americans. And I just had enough. But I don't believe it's my purpose in life to make sure somebody else has a purpose in life. You understand? But check out my shorts. Okay, Strictly Cycling. Paul, Strictly Cycling and I, believe me, we didn't get along. My first live stream. We were arguing about Snow White. Yeah. And we get along now. So anyway, check out my other stuff. Like I say, we all need to realize we have to come together. And then when we solve the problems that this country is faced with the government, then we can maybe we can come together and solve our problems instead of our politicians saying we need to be divided because we're different. Okay? Anyway, I like the SWAT team. I don't like people that get swatted at 6 a.m., no-knock raids, and get shot down in the street. That's called tyranny. Anyway, but divide and conquer is easy. For some people fall for it hook, line, and sinker. But see, this is the thing, being a Marine. I've already been brainwashed, people. Brainwashed in the American way, the Constitution. Or your mama's number one. Respect your family. Respect your neighbor. And do whatever you have to defeat America's enemies. You understand? You're military? Yes, I was in the Marine Corps. When I first went in, Ronald Reagan was in office. When I got out of the Marine Corps, Bill Clinton was in office. Talk about a culture shock. So, yeah, I got to see a lot of bad parts of the world. Anyway, how many homeless have I let into my house, Paul? None. You know why? Because anybody who's homeless doesn't live here, Paul. Let me tell you something, Paul. Like I say, you need to watch some of my other content. I live in a county that has less than 2,000 people in it. My county has 5 cops in it. 3 county mounties, the sheriff, and a state trooper that covers 3 counties, okay? And this is a populated county from what I came from that was less than 1,000 people. Now, there's no services here for people that are homeless. There's nothing for them. We don't see them here. But I am willing to give a man a chance, but I'm going to work him. I'm not going to give him anything. He's going to work for his keep. What's wrong with earning your way instead of somebody giving you your way? Okay? Anyway, do you think I don't care? I've been around the world, Paul. Even, let me tell you something, Paul. Even the worst homeless bum in the street in the United States has it better than 70% of the population of the world. Just so you can get that homeless shit out of your freaking head. They got it better than 70% of the population of the world. And I've seen some of it. In this country, you got freedom of choice. You got the freedom, you can sit there and live in the street if you want. And you can be successful if you try hard enough. Your choice. I'm not going to pay the consequences for your bad choices. And you're not going to receive the rewards for my good choices. Do you understand, Paul? Does that make me selfish? I tell you what, if it does, Paul, why don't you give all your money? Go out right now, empty your bank account, and start handing money out to the homeless people and see if you help them any. Anyway, I'm a product of my experiences, sir, and obviously I've seen a lot more in this world than you've ever even come close to seeing. So, well, I'm glad you believe in Trump all the way. He needs people to believe in him. Then maybe you should start telling him he needs to release the list. Like I say, I've been on for 1 hour and 6 minutes now. How many children all over the world have been abducted, thrown into vans, and going to be sold into sex slavery or even sacrificed in this last hour that Trump says he knows nothing about? The crime of the millennial is not being exposed. I voted for Trump, fool, and I feel like I got kicked in the gut. I'm glad you feel you didn't. Because I guess as long as Republicans get their tyranny, it's okay with you, right? Anyway, 25% of the mega Republicans on the right, 25% of the liberal Democrats on the left that won't listen to shit, and you got us 50% in the middle. We're the majority people. We are the majority. Don't let anybody ever tell you in the minority that they all think like that. Anyway, that's all I got for tonight. I'm glad everybody's been here. And like I say, Paul, please go out and check some of my other content. You might get a lot of your questions answered. Anyway, this is Tom with The Hidden Truths. I am out of here.